Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Welcome. And I'm Xin from Tuya Value-Added Service Team. And as you know, Tuya offers different value-added services to empower our ecosystem partners, which includes the essentials for you to quickly enter the IoT market, the OEM app, basic voice integration and certification services, and also more to support your long-term growth. And among that, cybersecurity is an inevitable topic in the IoT market. You know, our consumers, they care more and more about data privacy, and some big retail channels also become more demanding on this part. So that's why today we would like to share more insights from our experts and also the experts from our partners with you guys here. Okay, Tuya has put in a lot of efforts on cybersecurity services to help make your products compliant under different cybersecurity regulations all over the world. And today we'll be focusing on the UK's cybersecurity regulations, PSTI Act, and certification solutions provided by our team and our partners. As most of you already heard of, the UK government has enforced the PSTI Act, which starts from the end of this month. Yeah, let's get started. And let me introduce today's main speakers. Sander, our cybersecurity operation manager. And we also invited our guest speakers, Ethan, our senior cybersecurity engineer from Tuya, and also Ethan, the engineer from one of our trusted partners, TwoSuit. How does PSTI Act impact our IoT businesses in the UK market? Is Tuya module compliant with it? What are the exact requirements from the Act? What should we do to be compliant? And how Tuya helps with that? So in the next 30 minutes, our cybersecurity experts, we're going to answer all of these questions for you, okay? So Sander, I heard that we already have a lot of PSTI projects going on, right?
Correct, as the PSTI Act is soon taking effective in UK on April 29th. Many clients wanted to get prepared in advance. So we actually started our first PSTI certification project in last October. I remember they tested for their doorbell and IP camera. Cut off Q1, we are currently performing PSTI certification for 12 types of IoT products for 5 brands.
Okay, so already a lot of projects going on. I guess some of our audiences may not very familiar with the PSTI Act. So how about let's start, from sharing some background information first.
Okay, no problem. The PSTI Act is divided in 2 parts. The first part of PSTI creates a new regulatory regime to improve the safety of consumer-connected devices. The second part deals with the deployment and expansion of mobile network devices in the UK. Here comes our first question. How does it affect our business in the UK market? Basically, as long as you are selling connected products in the UK market, you are in the scope of this act, which means compared to before, you need to submit a compliance declaration for your product to the authorities. And then your product may be subject to spot checks after entering the market. And it's possible to read the fines and remove the servers if not complied with the regulations. In addition, because the regulation also requires the responsibilities of channels, brand will require to provide proof of compliance in the future, such as B&Q requires brand to provide a statement of compliance and a test report based on the two to take cooperation.
Okay, so you just mentioned that as long as the IoT products sold in the UK market, they're within the scope of the Act, right? So is this the official statement from the UK government? Could you give us more information from this part?
Yes, of course. Actually, the authorities has clarified the products connected to the internet are regulated by the PSTI Act and list some typical products in the scope of phishing to help you understanding. You can look at this chart. For example, network cameras, smart door, locks and alarm systems, network switches, smart home appliances, and so on. And Tuya had consulted the UK government and the industry inside. Currently, we can provide you a simple criteria to judge whether product on the PSTI Act regulator. If product directly connected to the internet guarantees the IP address after use, it's in the regulatory scope of the PSTI. No matter what kind of communications, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee. At the same time, products subject to other regulatory actors may also choose not to be certified for compliance by PSTI. For example, healthcare monitoring, smart meters, or electrical vehicles. In addition, products sold in the North Island are also not covered by the PSTI Act.
Okay, so I see. In summary, except for these healthcare monitoring products, smart meters, or vehicles, any other products that's connected to the internet or generates IP addresses, they need to be compliant and certified, right?
Yes, correct. And some of our clients also asked if compliance can be achieved through the module certification instead of product certifications. So as you know, Tuya, as a part of client's supply chain, we should make some action. Clients can check our PSTI statement on our official website. But for these questions, answer is no. From the technical perspective, Tuya provides modules and SDK services, but there will be a varying degrees of difference when applied to final form products. This difference will ultimately determine whether the product is compliant or not. However, in the future, Tuya will provide PSTI certifications for finished product clients. Please follow the Tuya's official website for updates. Currently, Tuya does not provide PSTI certifications for module clients. In addition, from a legal perspective, Tuya is not obligated to assume legal risk for clients' finished products.
Okay, so, and considering that there will be various differences in the final form of the product, the difficulty of compliance is also different, right? And does the use of module or software development solutions from different companies also affect the final results?
Yes, products that utilize Tuya modules and developed by Tuya SDK have the highest probabilities of passing PSTI certification with the least difficulty in rectification and the shortest test time. For clients who use the Tuya SDK, it may take a longer time. Products developed entirely by the third parties are the most challenging, requiring a case-by-case assessment.
Okay, I see. So I think the next part, we're going to talk about how our products are going to get compliant with the PSTI Act. And for this part, we invite Ethan from our trusted partner, TwoSuit. Ethan is a senior testing engineer from TwoSuit, and we've cooperated for many more complex cybersecurity projects before. And I believe he will give us more insights about the new act in the UK market.
Yes, I have worked with Ethan for quite a lot of cybersecurity projects before. So how can our products get compliant with the PSTI Act? To answer these questions, we first need to understand the compliance requirements of the PSTI. For PSTI compliance certifications, there are three key requirements. Ethan, can you help explain the requirements for our attendants?
Yes, of course. So first is password requirement. The PSTI Act prohibits the use of Unicode default password. This means that products must have Unicode default password or require users to set password when first using the product. Many IoT security rules have password management requirements, such as EN 303645, which requires that device password be set by users. Default password must be Unicode and randomly generated for each product. They must be set by users and generated randomly enough. Default passwords are used. Each device must be different, and the password must be sufficiently randomly generated. Furthermore, the function interface needs to provide authentication mechanisms and use encryption technology to prevent brute force attacks. If the product offers user login function, avenues must be provided for users to change authentication information.
Thank you, Ethan. So as Ethan explained for us, there is a strict requirement regarding password. And I would like to mention that Tuya has already stated on our website that currently modules product all meet this requirement.
Yes, indeed. Tuya's product can meet the first requirement. Okay, the second requirement is security management. Company need to develop a vulnerability disclosure policy to ensure that individuals who discover vulnerabilities can notify the manufacturer and ensure that the manufacturer can promptly notify customer and provide remedies. Many international customers expect your product to have a mutual vulnerability reporting channel. PSTI Act requires all IoT device manufacturer and brand owner to have vulnerability disclosure channels, allowing users to relevant researches to understand the vulnerability information. Through this channel for timely update, researchers can also provide us with vulnerability fix information through this channel, helping brand better provide customer with safety product.
Yes, correct. On this point, in fact, it's mainly a matter of the enterprise's exploration specification, and basically we will put forward revised opinions on the enterprises after reviewing it. The main problem is that enterprises need to be standardized disclosure of hardware and software, which is often ignored by enterprises.
Yes, enterprises need to pay attention to standardization of expression.
And the third requirement is security update cycle. Companies need to clearly and publicly state the shortest time period in which they will provide security updates to consumers to help them understanding. The regulation standard requires that all software update actions must be very clearly communicated to the user. The manufacturer must clearly inform the users about product update information in the declaration. Tuya currently offers a 36 months firmware support cycle, which can also be found on the website.
Yes, Sander has just explained the part very clearly. And I would like to add one point that the support date must be clear to a specific date, not a certain year.
Thank you, Ethan. At present, Tuya has published a statement with PSTI on our official website. Tuya customers can make self-declarations by referring to this website. This website is sufficient to demonstrate the compliance capabilities of the Tuya module. However, self-declaration documents do not help compliance completely avoid compliance risk. If the customer wants to further avoid the risk of selling products in the big channels, we highly recommend that take the PSTI certification services.
Yeah, I think from the previous session, we know that this PSTI Act is enforced and also the details of the 3 key requirements for us to meet, right? So I assume there are also some, preventive measures from the UK government. Would you explain more from this part?
Yes, and as we all know, the PSTI Act is a new act. There are no punishment case yet, but we can refer examples of European Union cybersecurity. For non-compliance, brand face fines of up to £10 million or 400% global revenue, plus ongoing fines of £20,000 per day. But I do have examples for our attendances. However, before I introduce it, I would like to invite you to take a small quiz. Ethan, can you help me take a quiz? Okay, thank you. 2017, the German government removed a door called Tuya from all platforms and ordered to destroy it because it would become a potential security risk in children's privacy. The manufacturer faced $0.26 billion and 2 years in prison. These 2 charges illustrated the GDPR valuations trend in the market during the 2016 to 2021. I would like to remind all attendants that while the European Union is one of the strongest economies in enforcing cybersecurity, the UK is the first country in the world to legislate for IoT products dating back to the Digital Economy Act 2008. So I would like to advise you not to take any chance. For enterprises, the loss of remove products from all platforms is small. The loss of channels, corporate opportunities, and consumer trust is the big.
I see. So, and I noticed that you mentioned a lot of times that the channels will require higher standards of cybersecurity compliance?
Yes, as you know, Tuya is one of the top players in the IoT industry. We work with not only brand customers, but also big channels such as Costco. So we are more sensitive about the market of the channel's requirement. I can make it very clear that requirements of these supermarkets will be higher than the government. As we know, these big channels are focused on the spot checks by regulators. So they valued their reputation so much as they required higher compliance standards than others. I suggest business that want to participate deeply in the global supply chain connect to your business management as soon as possible to get a reliable compliance certification program. But it's all about risk. There are also opportunities in the IoT market. When we talk about the cybersecurity, we also talk about the opportunity. The research of projects that UK IoT market will reach an estimated revenue of $11 billion by 2024, with the expected annual growth rate of 11.66%. The market size is expected to reach $17.1 billion by 2028. Home IoT devices potential is expected to reach 62.4% by 2024, with an average of 9 IoT devices per household. IoT devices has reached 77% in the 24 to 35 age group, but only 1 in 5 devices passed the cybersecurity certification. As we all know, customers in the European market, especially in the UK, have a relatively high demand for security. So how to prove the safety of products to consumer? The PSTI certification is a good opportunity to promote your safety product to consumer. Okay, I think now we have a little understanding of PSTI. If any of you have further questions, feel free to leave it to us. We will answer them in the Q&A session. Now, I would like to introduce how Tuya can support you to get PSTI certifications. First of all, Tuya Cloud technology already covers the password requirements, and overall, we will coordinate the document required by all parties at the beginning of the project, review and guide the vulnerability disclosure and support period cycle in the middle of the project, and finally, ensure products compliant enter the UK market with 4 to 6 weeks after receiving samples. And in fact, PSTI is only one part of the Tuya global certification services. At present, Tuya has carried out uninterrupted cybersecurity certification services for all clients' products to enter the Europe and American markets in compliance. And so far, all clients has passed all kinds of cybersecurity certification. I would like to ask you quick questions. She could help me with a small quiz here. Okay, thank you. So we can not only help you enter the UK market with compliance, but also provide more global compliance services for you. Tuya will provide one-stop services for clients, and the certification professional will respond for the overall planning and the guidance of the whole process to ensure that clients can complete the certification and get the certificate in the shortest time after receiving the sample. Because the certification service controlled by Tuya provides full access of intellectual properties, and the Tuya engineers have the highest understanding with their own modules, which can minimize the certification times. At the same time, in the process of working with top companies, Tuya has been nearly aware of the changes in the market and started PSTI certification studies for some customers, so that Tuya being one of the first patch companies in the market to start our PSTI certification studies. Okay, now that we have a basic understanding of Tuya PSTI certification services, I believe the audience is curious about Tuya's current technical capabilities invested in PSTI. Today, we also invite our senior cybersecurity engineer. Let's invite him to share some technical insights and the investment Tuya has put in this area. Ethan.
Thanks, Sander, for inviting me. So please look at the requirements of password in PSTI regulation. We can see the snapshot. The most important item is the password must be unique per product or defined by the user of the product. So how does Tuya's technical architecture to comply with it? According to the actual IoT products, no matter which way you use to get the credential for devices on the Tuya platform, as long as the devices are intended to connect to Tuya Cloud, the one-by-one password mechanism can be ensured. It's a mandatory requirement in almost worldwide cybersecurity standards for IoT products, and all products within the Tuya ecosystem meet this requirement when the production is completed.
Okay, what is Tuya doing on vulnerability disclosure management?
Of course, Tuya's global bounty program is a high-value vulnerability reward plan. It rewards white hats in the world who make outstanding contribution to Tuya's security. The program aims to build Tuya's security ecosystem mutually. According to Tuya's reward standards, for a single high-risk vulnerability, rewards can reach up to $300,000. Currently, the latest regulations such as PSTI EN 303645 and LIST II 8259, 8425 all require the brand owners to disclose their own vulnerability policies publicly. Tuya's SRC platform is a feedback system for all vulnerabilities, including reception, classification, response, fix, and disclosure.
Thanks, Ethan. How about the support period?
Support period. We know that Tuya has its own security baseline. It's called Tuya OS. It's built on top of RTOS, Linux, and LongOS. Tuya OS is a distributed and platform-agnostic IoT-OS. Tuya promised to provide 3 years support period from the initial official release date of the new Tuya's OS version.
Can you tell us some of the problems that you meet during the test?
Okay, we can view the issue raised by the testing lab. We found that two logic interfaces were scanned by the lab. So Tuya needed to describe the types of the interfaces, the purpose of the interfaces, the default status, the authorized entities who can access and modify the interfaces, the authentication, and the authorization methods, and whether the authentication method will be changed or deactivated.
So Tuya can provide technical services to explain the details to the lab. This is why we strongly recommend that clients choose Tuya PSTI certification services, which we can communicate directly with the tool. Besides, we have a better understanding of the cybersecurity certifications. Tuya can address the issues from the labs promptly, and Tuya take part in the certification earlier. It would be very useful to speeding up the whole process. Okay, Ethan, I believe that our attendance is not only interested in Tuya technical strengths in the PSTI. Can you tell us about the Tuya overall technical strengths?
Okay, as Sander mentioned, Tuya Smart is a leading IoT platform company, just as shown in the picture. Although there are only assess, develop, test, release, online, those 5 major steps in SDR, we have more measures at each step to make sure the security of firmware and software, like using security components, black duck tool, internal coding audit. And Tuya has invited a lot of third-party organizations to audit our information security management and privacy protection system. Meanwhile, Tuya also can validate the security compliance through these implementations. For example, Tuya has obtained the SOC 2 and SOC 3 audit reports from Ernst & Young and received certificates from the BSI, including the global recognized ISO 27001, ISO 27701, and ISO 27017.
Great. Tuya has made a great difference in the IoT product cybersecurity area.
Yeah, and Tuya has engaged with about 10 leading security companies to perform the professional penetration test on Tuya's product and modules to evaluate the Tuya's cybersecurity strengths. Some of them are famous security companies, such as Rapid7 on the defense, ScienceSoft, and Winlinux. Tuya has performed coding audits to prevent any insecure codes or backdoors within the products, and to ensure that there is no unauthorized access related to the data across the different servers.
Thanks for sharing, Ethan. Okay, let's play a little game. Hello, C, can you take a quiz for our attendance? Please look at this 4 certificates. Which one do you think is the fake? Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, I guess you have submitted your answer, right? So which one do you think is fake? Actually, all of them are fake, Ethan.
Yes, thanks to Sanders' little game. Actually, these 4 certificates can't be called fake certificates. They should be called unregulated certificates. EU officials have since issued a notice warning them that these certification bodies are not qualified to carry out tests. And we have the most complete certification qualification and the subject of our certification in German head office, which indicated on the certification. As for the test location, customer can also choose to study in the laboratory in Germany or the domestic laboratory. All certificates of TÜV will be published on the official website so that customer can check, and if there is any spot check problem of the product after certification, TÜV will help customer to complain to the regulator or authorities.
Okay, Ethan. I have heard the British side requires the certification subject of the cybersecurity report should be on the British or European lab. Does TÜV has any response to this market news?
None of this information published by the PSTI indicate the need for report or certificates for local laboratory in UK or the EU. I believe in the reputation of TÜV in the industry, if there's such a request, the head office will not let us undertake this line of business.
Thank you, Ethan. In our world, there are several advantages to choose Tuya certification services. Tuya provides cybersecurity certification worldwide, providing certification advance according to the market needs of our clients. And based on Tuya team rich certification experiences to provide professional guidance to the project to have high successful rates. In addition, Tuya engineers have completed intercultural probabilities access systems, which greatly reduce the time wasted by customers in the process of cooperation with lab communication cost and the certification cycles.
Yes, through certification, products are tested for cybersecurity issues, making product quality and experience further, and reducing or avoiding cyber attacks, complete with the current cybersecurity regulations to avoid penalties for violating regulatory requirements and affect shipments. It can be normally sold to various regulation regions.
Correct. Cybersecurity could serve as a unique selling point in advertisement to enhance the acceptance of the product by partners and consumers. Yes, indeed. So for every clients who joined this webinar, I guess you have or will have products that are selling in the UK market, right? As the enforcement date is approaching, we recommend that you check and see your UK product list and connect your Tuya business management to verify and get clearly tested periods and pricing. We will assist you in obtaining the certificates and test report, ensure compliance for enter into the global market. If you would like to have a face-to-face call with me, to discuss more about the cybersecurity, you can also let your Tuya business management to make an appointment with me.